This morning we're mapping your family's safety through the Sheriff's Office. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Embassy Suites Resort at Kingston Plantation, home of the 13th Annual American Heart Ball. We're focused on the sex offender research and tracking program, and we're visiting with Horry County Sheriff Phillip E. Thompson. Good morning, Sheriff Thompson.
Good morning. How are you, Greg?
Thank you so much for coming on in early this morning.
Well, thanks for having us here. I appreciate it very much.
And particularly since you're going to be with us in a little more than a week on Saturday the 17th. Excited to have you and Cherry out here helping the fight against heart disease and stroke.
Yeah, we're looking forward to being here. What a great cause.
Absolutely. And it's something I understand real close to your heart in many ways.
Yes, it is. Very much so. I as a matter of fact, I had heart surgery about March will be 2 years ago.
Is that right?
Very successful. Everything's going great. Doing real well.
Did you have that done here locally?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
At Grand Strand General.
Some tremendous doctors in this area. You know, last week Glenda McIntyre was with us. Brian McIntyre's wife has been a past chair of the Heart Ball. She'd even been here when the Heart Ball was at Kingston Plantation years ago. And to hear her talk about her husband, Brian McIntyre, who practiced with Curtis Bryan, and so many of the doctors that really commit a lot to make sure folks are taken care of.
Well, that was the group that I was with, and let me tell you, they took very good care of me. They really did.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hand-holding during times like that, and of course it happens to all ages. You know, earlier this week, Ashlyn Clark was with us, a 17-year-old high school senior, talking about open heart surgery, and it's a powerful thing, all ages. And of course, you know, she's a vivacious cheerleader, so if it can happen, or one that is into a lot of activities, if it can happen to somebody like that, it's good that you caught it early on.
It is, and everything has gone really good since then.
Praise the Lord. Well, it shows. It shows. You look great.
I feel great.
Early at 7 a.m. And, of course, the sex offender registration and tracking. You know, folks get a little antsy when you hear sex offender tracking. But, you know, when you think about the seriousness of this, it is something worth spending 20 minutes to listen to you talk about the severity of this.
Well, it is. And let me tell you, we have 540 registered offenders in Horry County now. Our numbers have gone up quite a bit in the last few years. As a matter of fact, we went to a full-time program with this about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we hired someone. Their specific duties, responsibilities was the registry. But since that time, in 4 years' time, Greg, we have doubled our numbers in registered offenders here in Horry County.
In 4 years?
Yes, we have.
Now, do you think that's because y'all have just gotten more active in making sure it's monitored properly, or because that many more sex offenders have moved into the county?
Well, we probably a combination of both, but we have had very good response from the public, from the citizens. We've had very good response from other law enforcement agencies that help us and assist us in giving us information on folks within their jurisdictions as well.
Oh, yeah.
But we've been very aggressive with this program.
Right.
And new laws have been passed to strengthen the part where they must register.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said earlier, we've been very aggressive. Our deputies go out. We make sure folks are where they say they're going to be. When we're notified by the Department of Corrections, a person's been released and they're not in, but they say they're moving to our area. They haven't come in and registered yet. We go out and look for them, try to find them.
There's a very short window of time that they can be in the county and not be registered.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. When they're released from prison and come back, they have X number of days that they have to come in and report to us. Not only that, not only the ones that maybe go through the court system do not get actual time to serve but are placed on probation.
Right. I saw that earlier this morning, example of somebody. Go ahead.
They must come by our office and register. And we get notification that they're supposed to be coming. And all in all, the majority of them, once they're out, they come in very quickly and let us know. And our registration process has changed where up till last year they registered once a year. Now they have to register twice a year.
Is that right?
That's correct. That that is a new law where they register on their birthday and 6 months later.
Well, I can't imagine anyone who'd potentially have a proclivity to get into a sex offense, who if hearing about this would not to steer away from that, I mean, because this is so serious. If it's not one of the biggest deterrents around, I can't imagine what's a bigger deterrent.
Well, it is, and like I said, our staff, our office, this is one of our main goals or main jobs that we have to do, and we put a lot of work and a lot of man hours in this. And if someone doesn't register or someone doesn't re-register, they don't come back in and re-register, we immediately go out and start looking.
Mm-hmm.
In the event we can't locate them with some certified letter, just in case we miss them.
Right.
If that doesn't happen, my next visit will be with an arrest warrant to take them back to jail.
Wow. Boy. Very serious issues for everyone involved. If a viewer needs to get off to work now or off to school, what is a good way for, whether someone has internet access? I know you talked earlier this morning the opportunity that someone can actually be notified whether they have internet access or not by calling your office. But it's critical that folks find some way to, whether they go to the library, they go to a friend's house, they need to get on the internet to see how easy this is of all ages. Anyone needs to go in and see how easy this is, but how critical it is. What's the best way for someone to get in touch with the sheriff's office?
Well, if you don't have internet access, you can call at 915-5450. Sergeant Lori Avant is our coordinator of this program. In the event she's not there, just ask to speak to anyone, and we'll make sure we get whatever information. But when you're talking about going to the internet, we went online earlier this month. It was the second week in January. We went online with a new program.
Right.
It's called the Offender Watch. Previously, you had access to the sex offender registry through our website, through a Horry County government website. Mm-hmm. And the sheriff's office is the one that was responsible for making sure that we had that information on a website where you could receive the information on the offenders in certain areas. And the way you looked them up at that particular time was either by city, by zip code. You could put your zip code in, and it would give you the offenders that had that same zip code.
Right.
I attended a conference a few months ago, and I saw this program. It's called the Offender Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Had a vendor there, and he was demonstrating this program, and I looked at it, and it just gives us so much more information.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when I said, we got to have that in Horry County. So I had him come down, visit with us at our office in Conway, show us what the program was about. Not just me, I had seen it, but I wanted my staff to see it.
Sure.
I also wanted other representatives from county government to see what we were talking about. What this enables us to do is you can go on, anyone out there can go on the website, horrycounty.org.
Okay.
And you can access the sex offender registry from their homepage.
Mm-hmm.
If not, if you go under departments, click on the sheriff's office, that's the first thing you're going to see
when
our webpage pops
prominent.
up.
That's right.
We put right in the center. It's called SORT, Sex Offender Registry and Tracking.
Yes.
Click on that. You'll go to a screen where you can put your address in. Put your address, and when you click on that, it will give a map of where your residence is located, a 1 mile radius circle.
Right.
All the offenders that live in that 1 mile circle, it will indicate where they are. Scroll to the bottom of the page, and it has these offenders listed.
Right.
Just beside their name, you'll see View Details. You click on that. It clicks on to that individual, gives you a picture, gives you their address, gives you the charges that they served time for, that they were found guilty of, and all. Now, not only can you do that for your address, you can do that for any address of interest. A daycare center. Say you have children going to a daycare center.
Right.
Put that address in there. School.
Mm-hmm.
Your children going to school.
Oh,
Put that in there. It gives you all the offenders that live within 1 mile areas, a park, a church,
right,
a swimming pool, anywhere.
A caregiver's home, a babysitter.
That's what I was going to say. Grandparents' home. You know, all of us grandparents, we love we love for them to bring our grandchildren over to stay with us. But and I'm sure other folks are that way. So you check that out. So that is and you can also, on that same page, beside it, you can put all these addresses and register them with the sheriff's office. Your address, your daycare center, caregiver center, grandparents' house, park. Put that in there. If an offender registers with us within a 1 mile radius of that register, we will notify you by email.
It is tremendous.
That offender has moved in that area. Now, if you don't have internet access, what you can do is you can call our office, ask to speak to Sergeant Avant or Paulette Carter, either one.
Lori Avant or Paulette Carter. Okay.
I'm sorry, Paulette Rathman. Now she was
okay.
Paulette Rathman,
Thank you.
or Sergeant Avant. Let them know. Give them your address. In the event, we'll put you in our system. In the event an offender moves in, we will send you a letter notifying you.
And that's simply the 843-915-5450.
That's correct.
5450. And the great thing is, for our viewers in the PD or southeastern North Carolina, they may not be calling this office, but they can call their local sheriff's office.
That's correct. All sheriff's offices in the state of South Carolina monitor and are responsible for the sex offender registry in their counties. Now, there's only 2 of us that have this offender watch program in the state right now.
Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We're the second person to go aboard with this. Other ones will be coming. I feel very sure that they will, because it's such a great program.
It is. And of course, folks wouldn't want to visit that. I know that earlier this morning as I was researching, I was seeing some of it get popped up, the watchsystems.com/SC/ORI, and to see it pop up right there. But of course, even better to go through the county government site, to go through it to oricounty.org and to click on departments and click on sheriff, and you're right there.
Another issue I want to bring up while we're talking about it is the mapping.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like I said, this was a few months ago I first saw the program, but when we went, once we had them down for their presentation here,
right,
and we decided to go with them. So we didn't go live, but we were working with the system. But we were having a problem with our mapping. Horry County is experiencing such growth.
Oh, golly!
We're building new subdivisions, new roads and things. For the other mapping agencies to keep up with the exact location, we were having a lot of problems with that. So, like MapQuest, so some of the other mapping companies that this company would use, we would punch up and we weren't getting accurate readings.
Right.
So what we did was our IT department in Horry County government just did a marvelous and wonderful job of working with these folks with Offender Watch to interface our mapping system, our GIS mapping system in Horry County with that program, so you're getting the most up-to-date locations.
That is tremendous.
So that's why it took us a little longer, to get started with it. And there's the possibility that there still could be some mistakes out there. So you'll notice on our website when you go to it that we have information on there that if you know of where an offender is the information you see is not correct, you immediately, as soon as you can either email us, or you can call us.
You want to know.
I want to know. That's why we've been able to make a lot of changes. Not a lot, but we've had a few where people have said, listen, that's not a correct address. And we've been able to go check it, find out that it wasn't.
Rectify it quickly.
That's correct. And it's not just us saying this is the most accurate, just the most accurate information that we have at this particular time. That doesn't mean it's 100% correct. And if you know out there that something's incorrect, don't hesitate. Let us know. Email us. When we first went online, we got several emails where the addresses may have been off a little bit. We had an address, and the person wasn't there, and the people knew they weren't there. Well, they let us know. Well, we've been able to find those folks. So it's with the community and us working together.
Absolutely.
To make sure we got this accurate information.
And getting the information out as much as possible. So many aspects tie into this. Of course, a lot of folks are always wondering, what is a registered sex offender? What does someone have to do to be registered? Is it very basic things, or is it all very serious?
Well, it varies. A person must register if they've been convicted of certain crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be criminal sexual conduct, first, second, third degree,
Right.
which is some form of, criminal sexual conduct, first degree is rape. And then you have different degrees. But if you're criminal sexual conduct, first, second, third degree, lewd act on a child,
Right.
kidnapping is a required offense to be registered for.
Oh, yeah.
Some degrees of indecent exposure.
Mm-hmm.
With indecent exposure being on the registry, a judge has to specifically order the court to have this person registered, order the defendant to have that person registered. Because there's different degrees of indecent exposure.
Sure.
So, you hear folks talk about, well, if someone was outside and all, you could end up on the registry. That's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about severe instances
Oh, yeah.
of indecent exposure. Lewd act on a minor, I think I might have mentioned that.
Right.
But there are other offenses, but a person has to have been found guilty and been to jail, prison, or on probation.
Right. Which as
So
I
it's
said,
not a person that's
yeah.
been charged.
Mhm.
This is a person that's been convicted.
Good, yes.
And then,
Because obviously lots of things could happen or people get out there, but as long as they've gone through the system and are recognized in that capacity, because as we said, that deterrent component, when you pull that up and you see a picture, oftentimes of a neighbor, when I went on earlier this morning and saw two folks within my 1 mile radius, and then one, the great thing is it still shows some folks even outside of that 1 mile radius. I clicked on the third one, and it said he went in the same day that he came out, so obviously it must have been probation.
that's correct.
But you're able to see where he is. The two within the neighborhood, one 15 houses from me, and of course, one thing you mentioned so many different aspects on there, aside from the picture, but they also show a lot of the descriptive issues, whether they have tattoos on their arms, on their hands, on their chest, and it shows what those tattoos are. It's very powerful information. I think any parent, any grandparent, any loved one, any caregiver, obviously any potential babysitter who's going to say, hey, let me take your kids in my house, they need to be able to say, I know where the sex offenders are in my neighborhood. And I think a grandparent needs to be able to say to a child, their own child, hey, I know I'm watching our grandchildren, and I know where folks are, and I'm very cognizant of that. I think it's important for people of all ages.
Well, it is. Definitely is. And not only is this a tool, and it's a very important tool for notification and for citizens in our county to understand what's around, it's also a good tool for law enforcement.
Yes.
We work so closely with the other law enforcement agencies in this county that we have gone to the different city police departments and talked with their people to help us. 540 people. It's hard for one agency to go to 540 individual homes. So
Right.
the ones that are in their jurisdictions, we have gone and asked them if they would check those.
Confirm those addresses and everything.
And let me tell you, they have been remarkable. They have been wonderful. We are constantly, our staff that handle this are constantly in contact with representatives from the other agencies where these cities are checking theirs out, so that helps us as far as the county areas.
Oh, yeah. Sheriff Thompson, I tell you, the website just goes, you could go on and on. If someone visits for the first time, whether they're a young parent like me or a grandparent or otherwise, there's so many pages of it. What you've got on there now, and the tips for parents, and great practical tips for children in a PDF format. You easily print it out, lay those out. It reminds children basic issues, but some of the basic steps there, just giving you the facts and figures, basic facts and figures about sex offenders. 50% of them reoccur. A lot of them are constantly moving around. They hate to be tagged, and of course that's a real serious thing. And we want to recognize the deterrence, but also you helping with many of the folks in your department working in the detention center. Obviously, there's a goal of rehabilitation.
Well, there is, and all of us want to have rehabilitation, but and I hope we do. I'd love to see 100% rehabilitation. I really would. But what we want to make sure is we got as much information as we got out there, so that the citizens of this county can go on there and they can understand. Like you referred to the tips that's on there. I encourage everyone when they go on this website, read those tips.
Right.
You know, I've been in law enforcement for 29 years. And I've been involved, but even some of those tips that I read on there, just I kind of thought to myself, why didn't I think of that?
Right.
Well, maybe you had thought of that, but you hadn't really put it to use. Like, let kids be kids.
Let kids be kids.
That's
yeah.
it. You know, let them be kids, and we all want to protect them, but kids have got to be kids. But we got to teach them. I think probably one of the most important things that we can do as a parent or a caregiver is to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Be open. Be honest. Let these kids know what to do if someone approaches them and they don't know. Let them know. And there's tips are in there to tell you what to tell them.
Right.
But be open with them. You know, these kids are a little smarter than we give them credit for sometimes.
I know my daughter is, yes, yes.
But read the tips. And please don't ever hesitate to call our sheriff's office.
Oh, yeah.
If you got a question about anyone, you're not going to bother us. That's what we're there for.
Right.
That's our job. I'm just glad we were able to get this program, get it in effect in Horry County. I think you'll probably see it go through some other counties, but I'm glad we got it here in Horry.
Absolutely. We just got a couple of minutes. You know, we think about your office and, of course, the Judicial Center, 212,000 square feet, and obviously y'all are actively making sure folks are not only taken care of, but that it's operated efficiently and proficiently. The detention center, a lot of your man hours, a lot of your person hours are out there. And there's so much more that happens in the sheriff's office. I bet a lot of folks, if someone asks you a basic question, give me a minute, summarize what all the sheriff's office does in Horry County. How would you, when you think about that?
Well, you know, our basic goal or our basic responsibility that I feel like with the Sheriff of Horry County is that we're an assisting agency for all the law enforcement agencies in this county. I mean, we help and we assist all the different departments, cities, the county police department. We're there to help and assist them. We certainly have responsibilities with the security and all this going on in the courthouse. And in this day and time,
right,
security is of utmost importance.
Oh, yeah.
And we want to have good security, but we want to have it in a way that doesn't scare you to death when you come in. If you understand
right.
what
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
sure.
We got to do it in that way. Our detention center, I could talk for an hour about where
easily.
we're at there. Extremely overcrowded. Got a wonderful staff of men and women that work out there, just working so very hard to under conditions of being overcrowded and all. We're in a rebuilding process now. Got 188 employees out there, and I got 650 inmates today.
Wow. Wow. Well, I want to thank you again on behalf of the Herald for opening up to Paul and giving him some great ideas of some of the tremendous public safety profiles he's done over the last couple of years, both from your office, the Horry County Police Department, all the different public safety agencies in the county have turned and provided Paul some of the great people, and I have seen some of the most exciting profiles of folks working and helping to operate your detention center.
Well, thank you for that. Let me tell you something. Paul's a great guy to work with. You've got a good guy there, and the Herald is top notch.
We've got a long way to go still, but surely making a difference, and it is amazing. And I can't say enough about the commitment you all have made to doing it and doing it right here with the tracking system there. I've never seen anything like it. It's very powerful. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Sheriff.
Thank you. My pleasure. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People. Sheriff Phillip E. Thompson coming up next. We didn't get to talk about being a lifelong native of Horry County, but we did get to talk about why notification is so important. The Sex Offender Registration and Tracking Program. This is critical stuff. Critical stuff we didn't get to talk about is 29 years in law enforcement. But we did get to talk about that simple phone number and web address. If you don't have internet access, take the time to call his office. He wants you to call. He wants you to call. There's folks there that want to hear that call, 843-915-5450. Or the website, which is most important. Take the time to go there. Go to a library if you have to. Go to a friend's house. Or just get up right now and go to your computer and type in horrycounty.org. Then click on Departments. Click on Sheriff. And take the time to look in your neighborhood. It's critical. Sex offenses reoccur 50% of the time. Sex offenders are there. It's a difficult subject to get into, but it's one that you need to take the time to learn about. Go there, horrycounty.org. Click on Departments. Click on Sheriff. check out the sex offender registry or definitely call the office. It's a big issue.